Paul. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. How was your week?
Hey, it was pretty good. I had a cool little breakthrough this weekend in my life in a spiritual sense, and so I feel kind of refreshed starting the new week.
Good. So what's been going on?
Well, I've been on this real long spiritual journey. I've shared with you before. I was extremely addicted to alcohol, drugs, and got really on fire and excited for Jesus. And I told you about that before. So just kind of recapping for my own sake. But one of the big things I've been learning right now, what God's doing with me, is um, teaching me how to just walk with Him. Because I got really caught up, and I shared with you before about the charismatic church and some of the, legalistic behaviors in the part of the movement I was a part of. And right now, I feel like God's really teaching me to walk in a new place with Him. And it's an interesting journey because a lot of my life and identity was wrapped up in the church, where I felt like I had to be a certain something or say it a certain way or be what somebody else wanted me to be in essence. And if not, I wasn't accepted. And there was pain attached to that. But now I'm learning to just embrace who I am apart from a ministry platform. And so that's kind of like what I had breakthrough in at some level this weekend. So I'm just kind of trying to learning to navigate that.
So your emotions, kind of what you were going through before, was trying to fit in.
Yeah. Well, at some level, it wasn't that I was trying to fit in. It was that I was longing to be accepted. And since my style was different and my language was different, and I don't necessarily fit into a model where some of the language I use is that people can just drink the Kool-Aid and they're okay with however that church functions. But I'm always reaching for something deeper in God. And so it was like, if I don't fit here, if I don't say it like you might not give me room to be a part of your preaching crew. And then where does that leave me in the dreams and desires I have to preach the gospel and those different types of things?
So your thought process from the way you were before, more legalistic, as you said, to now, how has it shifted and changed?
It's so much. I used to. I mean, in the Bible it says we must be born again, and so I always say Christianity isn't a self-improvement program or a series of things that we have to do. It's a new birth. And for me, the journey in the new birth has been learning and growing and developing who God is. And in the early stages of my life, I thought He was mostly angry, and I had to completely live perfectly under this performance-driven thing, or else He was going to beat me. Kind of like relationship with my dad growing up, and never, But I knew biblical language was different than that. But it was a process of really getting to know what the Lord is like. And now, over the last few years, there's been such a change in my understanding of who God is as a Father and His perfect love over my life, allowing me to dream dreams, stuff that I was never allowed to do in life, express how I feel, get vulnerable, live outside of the constrictions of control of my father, my earthly father, or even pastors or the charismatic church. You have to do it this way, which I call being dogmatic. And if not, I wasn't accepted. So I'm learning wow, God's not like that at all. And there's some beautiful people, sincere people that are living in that. But as I moved away from that, I'm learning now, it's okay just to be and not to be doing ministry and not to be worried about it. Just to me, my relationship with Him as a son and as a father. And I'm experiencing that in new depths, especially in the accelerated way in the last few months, as I came out from that system. And there's a current church I had mentioned to you that's trying to get me to be a part of what they're doing, and I'm a little conflicted about that.
So, just to paraphrase what you were saying, you are at a point in your life now where you've grown so much in your thought process from that legalistic way, and now it's more of you and God and you working on yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's me working on myself. It's me. It's me letting Him just love me, is the language that I like to say, and it is the conflict is okay. Well, now I don't know if I'm ready. I don't want to go. I kind of word it like this. I had recently, got out of a relationship back in March, which was filled with codependency based upon my emotional instability and her issues as well. And so it's like to go back to that relationship would be insanity. Going and doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It's insanity. So for me right now, going back into a charismatic setting, I don't, because you can get codependent in the church and become, it gets weird. It gets controlling, weird with pastors. And this church isn't necessarily like that, but it has elements that are similar to the other ones. So I'm saying, Lord, it's something that I'm trying to figure out. Do I go back to a relationship with the church that's like the one I just left? It's like going to a girl that in my mind, that's how I'm processing it right now. Even though this church is a little bit more healthier than the last one I was a part of, there's still some similarity. So I'm like, Lord, am I supposed to be a part of this church? I know I'm called to love the church. I know I'm called to serve her and to bless her, but I feel like the things that are going on right now in me need to be further developed before I can go back and love her the way she needs to be loved.
That's a good analogy that you made there, and that makes a lot of sense. And it's good that you can actually see the similarities and kind of step back and not just jump into another place where you might get, kind of back on track to where you used to be.
Totally.
So how are you feeling now at this point in your life when it's just you concentrating on your relationship with God and what He wants you to do from now on?
Yeah, there's some excitement. My heart feels alive in the sense of like I feel safe and I feel so. I mean, there's a dynamic connection I feel with His love lately. Like I feel so accepted to be me, to be who I want to be, and so there's a real beauty in that in my own life and the way I see it. And so it's just so different. Like it's so different because I know that the Bible or it's hard for me to formulate this because it's still new language for me. It's still like a new process of me experiencing what I'm experiencing. Completely no shame attached for me to take a season to do what I want to do rather than try to do it to please somebody else or to feel religious pressure that I have to because the church says so or the Bible says so. And then I'm forced in there. Then I see that happen in my own life before in other people's life, and they get burned out, disenfranchised because, So for me right now, it's like, wow, Lord, this is beautiful. This is life. This is what Jesus said. Eternal life is to know the Father. And that's what I get to experience. And for me, it's cool and freeing because I'm taking that into my personal relationships more, and the people that are surrounding me are seeing it. And a lot of guys who were like me that were really zealous about the Lord, that had real spiritual anointings and gifting, but had all this emotional brokenness, other types of dysfunction in their life. I'm becoming, even as I'm allowing the Lord to love me in my own process, as I speak with them, it's helping them get unlocked from some of their same emotional hang-ups or dysfunctional things that they've been wanting to. So I'm seeing everything develop, in a different way, and that's usually how I think God works. It's always different than what I thought it was going to be.
So it's usually, it's been a hard transition, but you've done it. And now, from you breaking away from that, it's kind of like reaping now the benefits of that. And so you're able to, like you said, you're able to help other brothers, sisters even, who you are where you used to be, and you're able to be a helping hand for that. And so
totally,
it just kind of reinforces, the lifestyle that you're taking now with Christ as a positive one because you're able to help others. So
that's really good.
Oh, goodness. Sorry.
No. Yeah, and it is good. Even as you're saying that, I'm just thinking like it's a humbling experience for me to even, I don't know. There's so many different thoughts and emotions that I'm trying to process through the journey because it's like, where do we go from here? And I don't know. That's one of the things that I'm like, okay, Lord. I'm getting my master's program, my master's right now, and I'm studying, and there's some cool opportunities, but it's nothing but me and Him, which is cool. And I'm grateful for that side of it, but I'm also kind of at moments wondering, how is this all going to play out? down the road, now that I have come out from that and I have transitioned. So it's like the pathway is wide open, if that makes sense. Of anything, where am I going to go? How is life going to look? Because before it was pretty cookie cutter. I was involved and entrenched in a life, and now it's like the possibilities are pretty wide open.
So now, pretty much you've transitioned from this legalistic stage into a more kind of a season where you're concentrating on yourself and your relationship with God, as we were talking about. And
Right.
now, for you, it's kind of like an open pathway. Like, you know, God can do anything with your life. It's not just certain rules and restrictions that you're, you know, confined to, which is a great, great thing. So
It's awesome.
very proud of you for making that transition.
Thank you. That's good.
That's it. Good.